Welcome, everyone. My name is Sejal Thakkar. I'm your Chief Culture Officer and host for this exclusive Nobody Studios live stream. And today we're going to have a really great session, an enlightening session. We're going to be talking about the transformative power of breath. And not just something that's going to shape us in the way that we show up at work, but in our everyday lives. And so it's an absolute pleasure to introduce my good friend, Dave Gieselman. He was a maestro in the culinary arts and kitchens of LA. And now he's embraced the role of a speaker, a mentor, a breathwork guide. And he's got this special program we're going to be talking about of Limitless Flow, which leverages the power of neuroscience and the dynamics of flow state. So he basically works with leaders and individuals all over the world with this innovative breathwork modality that he's designed to help us evolve into the best versions of ourselves. And so I invited Dave to come to Nobody Studios because really the work that he's doing aligns with some of our core values. And so we did a limitless flow breathwork session at the studio as part of our culture. And we're partnering with him to offer it to all of our nobodies located, all over the globe to help us really help our teams, right, become better versions of ourselves. So welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you so much, Sejal. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for really sort of helping me evolve on my journey. I'd never done breath work before I started working with you, and it has literally helped me change in so many ways, and we'll talk about that. But I would love to kick off the live stream. If you could just share a little bit about what inspired you to create the Limitless Flow modality, and tell us a little bit about your background too.
Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I cooked professionally for 30 years here in Los Angeles. 20 of them in Michelin-starred kitchens. I literally grew up in super high performance environments. That's my background. And like many young cooks, I attempted better living through chemistry to regulate my nervous system and deal with the stress and everything else. And that turned out not to be a long-term sustainable solution for me. And in my early 20s, substances got taken off the table as an option for me. And so my environment didn't change, but my coping mechanism had to. And so I went diving into neuroscience, peak performance, flow states, breath work, mindfulness, meditation, like anything I could do. Like we just seated the president of the United States at the table next to Jeff Bezos. Like if in that moment you redline and lock up, you're useless. And so I began trying to figure out how to regulate dopamine and endorphins and my nervous system in a non-altered way. And so I've been on a close to 30-year journey with that. I've been sober now most of my life, and it's been a good thing. And so I began studying like SEAL teams and extreme sports athletes and Wim Hof, and I came across all this stuff, and I got introduced to this long form style of breath work, this psychedelic flow state sort of style of breath work, and it changed my life. It changed the trajectory. I've been coaching for a long time. I left professional kitchens to coach and speak full time in 2017. So I've been doing this for a little while, and I got introduced to this type of breathing, and it changed everything for me. And so I went diving into every single modality that I could. It fit perfectly. I began studying why it worked, why it did what it did, why you could get your body to produce DMT, and you could have a full, authentic psychedelic experience. And I just really got into it, and I began teaching other people. And I finally went back to a guy, and I'm like, all right, I want to learn this. Like, I want you to teach me how to do this. And not only, and the guy who taught me this is a Qigong master named Kai. And not only did he teach me a whole bunch about breath work and a whole bunch about the neuroscience behind breath work, the physiology behind breath work, but then helped me develop Limitless Flow as its own modality. And the session that it's been a pleasure to guide you through a few times now, like I was saying, has been engineered minute by minute through a neuroscience lens to put you into flow state, to put practitioners into flow state very quickly and very effectively. And so that is the point of this modality. There's a lot of different things we can do with it, but having the ability to drop into flow state very quickly, very efficiently, has been a huge game changer for me and for the people I work with.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, like I said, I'd never tried breath work in this way before. And so when I started telling people about the fact that I was doing these sessions with you and explaining to them kind of what I was feeling and what I was going through, I started hearing a lot of misconceptions about what people think breath work is all about. So can you talk about some of the misconceptions you've heard about and kind of set the record straight on some of these? And I'll kind of share some of the ones that I've been hearing as well.
For sure. So, breath work it's something that humans have been doing since the dawn of man. You know, we've been doing breath work. We've been manipulating our breath in a lot of ways for a long time. And, you know, kind of in our culture, in particularly Western culture, it's not as common. You know, people hear of Wim Hof, and so you talk about breath work, and it sounds kind of very like hippy dippy, you know, deep in the woo. Like, I don't know what that is. Is it some kind of like weird meditation? You know, they've seen, if you're in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community, you kind of watch a couple of the guys who are deep into breath work kind of manipulating, you know, you see them all sucked in there and they're talking about manipulating different organs in their body, and it just sounds weird. And the misconception is that it's deep in the woo, it's this metaphysical thing, it's meditative, it's, you know, and so there's this kind of crazy aspect to it. I'm really grateful for Wim Hof, who began making, you know, breath work just as a concept, sort of accessible, sort of current culture, popular culture, and I love Wim Hof. I love his modality. I think it's great. But yeah, the conception is either that it's weird or it's meditative and sleepy, and there's really nothing in it for me. I don't get it.
Yeah, one of the things that I heard from a couple of people when I was telling them that I was doing these sessions with you and that we brought it to Nobody Studios was that there's like a right way of doing breath work and there's a wrong way of doing breath work. I also heard from some people, they were saying, oh, you know, is it a quick fix? You know, it's going to be some kind of quick fix. And when I did it, I mean, I definitely felt mental clarity right off the bat. But I know that since I've continued to do the sessions, that there's been this like kind of path of gradual growth. And it's not something that just happened like that. Although I did have emotional responses during the last couple of sessions. So I know that there was something going on internally during those sessions. And then the other thing that I've heard a lot about too is a lot of people ask me when I tell them that I've gone to your session, they're like, oh, is it kind of like meditation? You know, is it similar to you just sort of relaxing? And for me, it's actually the opposite. I feel like it's an exercise routine, right? So talk to us a little bit about kind of going into that flow state through breath work versus meditation.
So it is meditation for those people who really struggle to meditate. Breath work is a perfect alternative. Like, if you just got that busy mind and the idea of sitting down, closing your eyes and being still, and watching your breath for 20 minutes, I would rather be set on fire, right? Then breath work is a really great alternative. So Limitless Flow Breathwork, and there's lots and lots and lots of different types of breathwork, and Limitless Flow is a fairly unique modality. And so what it is it's about 50 minutes of focused, intentional breathing. It's going to feel like a workout. It's going to feel confronting. You're going to get about 4 minutes in, I promise, and you're going to begin reconsidering every single decision that you've made that brought you here, for the reason that it's hard. It is going to be challenging. You're going to lay down, and I'm going to give you some instructions, some very specific breathing techniques, and you're going to be doing these for about 11 minutes at a time. So it's kind of a long process. These breaths are not calm, relaxy, breathy techniques. They are active breathing. It is challenging. And as you do it, you start to get tired. You begin to feel those muscles. A lot of people tell me that all of a sudden the next day their muscles are a little sore, their sternum's a little sore from doing exercise with muscles that they're just not used to doing. And so, it is 50 minutes of focused intentional breathing. There are 3 rounds of breathing. It's 11 minutes of each with 2 breath holds in between, one with air and one without air. And then at the end, once you are in I promise you will be in an altered state, then there is a meditation. So then you get to just be in that suspension or savasana and just go into a meditative state. And when you get there, you'll be glad it's there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had really big emotional releases. One of them, my son, I even brought him with me to do a session with me. And I'm going to make sure that we regularly do that together. But one of them, he was feeling overwhelmed because he saw my emotional release and he didn't know what was going on. Right. But then after the emotional release was done, I felt this like literally overwhelming sense of relief. And I was telling him, I'm like, no, honey, that's a good thing. Right. So I love something that you've said in every session. And I wrote it down here so I can have you kind of talk to us about some of the physiological changes that happen during the session. But you say this a lot, and I love this. I want to read it for everybody that's joining us. You say, you can't think yourself into feeling safe. You must feel yourself into thinking safe. Like I've never heard that before, and it's just really stuck with me. So tell us a little about what that means, and tell us about some of the physiological changes that people experience going through these sessions with you.
100%. So I'm gonna take you back 50,000 years real quick. Okay. And so you and your Paleolithic partner are having a great Paleolithic day, and you've been eating nuts and berries and sticks and twigs and just being your Paleolithic selves. And you're walking down toward the stream, and you're going to go get some water, and a bear pops up. Right. And you shift into fight or flight. Right. And what happens is, as soon as you shift into fight or flight, you go running because you're not going to take on a bear, and so you bail down you bail down the thing. You escape the bear, right? And so when you do that, after you do that, your body calms down, right? And as soon as your body calms down, you start breathing slower. And your body is now telling your mind that your body is safe. So if you want to control your brain state, you must control your heart rate. If you want to control your heart rate, you control your respiration. The heart sends 60 times more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart, right? So when we are in our stressed state and we slow our breathing down, your body must tell your mind that your body is safe before your mind releases fear. That's the only direction that information travels. Okay. When we are stressed out at work, at home, with whatever, we often think that if we can solve the problem, the stress level will drop. The exact opposite is true. Until we drop the stress level, we will not have access to the part of our brains that are going to solve the problem. So when we are stressed and we slow our breathing down, our heart rate slows, our brain goes, yo, what are you doing? Why are you slowing down? I thought we're freaked out about the thing. And the body goes, no, you're freaked out about the thing. You're at an 11. We need you to 6. We're okay. And so that's the way that message of safety works. The body has to tell the mind, you cannot think yourself into feeling safe, which is why when we're in our even in like a trauma trigger and we try to think, okay, I'm safe, it doesn't work. You can't think your body into believing it's safe. Your body has to tell your mind, which is why we have to get calm first, then get clear. We have to calm our bodies and then begin to solve the problem.
So what are some of the long-term benefits? Right? I'm new on this journey. I think I've done several sessions with you, and I plan on, like I told you before we jumped on air, this is going to be a regular part of my taking care of my own well-being, and I'm going to include my son in it. I've included people at Nobody Studios in it. I'm talking about it. But what are some of the long-term benefits of continuing to practice this breath work, regularly? And how is it going to help me and other people that really take this on, which again, I highly, highly, highly recommend that people incorporate breath work. I even find myself now when I'm starting to get stressed out, like I'm going to jump on a call, which I know is going to be a stressful call, or it's going to be something where there might be a situation where we don't see eye to eye. I automatically go into deep breathing, where I catch myself just before I even jump on the call. So I'm already incorporating into my daily, but what are some of the long-term benefits?
So long-term benefits are myriad. So the people who live the longest have the biggest lungs. Okay, which means that they're taking in more air into their old age. They are taking in more air. When we die of old age, we die basically because we stop having the ability to inflate our lungs. Like we just can't get oxygen anymore. When you die of cancer, when you die of dementia, when you die of all these things, you don't die of those things. You die of like pneumonia. You die because your oxygen level just drops, right? And that's the thing is these things don't necessarily kill you. It's all of the other stuff. So adding the ability to take big breaths into your lungs extends your life. Having breath work as a tool for nervous system regulation means, and I teach lots of different types of breath work. So there's the Limitless Flow session that you are familiar with, but you and I are also in a number of other groups where we talk about different types of intervention style breathings. If I'm about to go into that meeting, if I'm about to get on that call, if I'm about to walk into court, if I'm about to step onto that speaking stage, right? And I'm nervous or I'm wound up, I need a tool that will shift my nervous state immediately. And I teach a dozen different breathing techniques that will do that. So I teach intervention style breathing. Like I need a state change right now. I need it to happen right now. It has to be effective in this moment. Then I teach sort of day-to-day breathwork techniques. Techniques that are like a part of your day, techniques you can do kind of in your car if the stress is coming up, techniques you can do sort of at your desk. Being mindful of your breathing keeps you present. All stress and all depression is a product of not being in the present. Right now, you're safe, you're fine, you're good. And if you're not safe and fine and good, then you should be in your sympathetic nervous system. You should be in fight or flight. If you are not safe, fine, and good in this moment, you should be in an aroused state, right? But we're safe. Problem is we have this ancient nervous system that's a binary, right? So I am either being attacked by a bear in this moment, or I am not being attacked by a bear in this moment. And it's binary. You're either one or the other. Most of us are not being attacked by a bear quite as often as our nervous systems would indicate that we are, right? All the stress problems that we face, all the stress-related health problems, stress-related heart problems, stress-related physical problems can be alleviated when we begin to take command of our stress levels. And just like instituting a good yoga practice, instituting a good meditation practice, instituting a good mindfulness practice, it is holistic care. So the three highest leverage things that you can do for yourself: highest leverage, lowest cost, will change your life to the greatest degree, is adding 10 minutes of breath work a day, 20 minutes of meditation a day, 20 minutes of journaling a day. If you do that for 60 days, you will be unrecognizable to yourself. If you do it every day for 60 days, you will be unrecognizable. If you do it every day for 6 months or a year, you will be a different person. Your life will look different, feel different. It will handle different. You will be far more agile. You will be far more emotionally and mentally nimble when you have a whole set of tools at your disposal and you are regularly taking the wheel on your nervous system. I got this. I am not a slave to my mind. I am not a slave to my fears. I am not a slave to my emotions. Yes, emotions are real. Yes, I hear you. Yes, that's fine. And we are not going into panic. I'm in charge, right? I'm the adult in the room, and my fears are valid. My emotions are valid. My stress is valid, and I get to be the adult in the room in my life.
That's so powerful, and I feel like, why aren't we teaching children this, when they're
Some of
young,
us
and,
are.
and helping them understand this. But so for the leaders that are tuning in right now, Dave, how can they start to weave the breath work into their teams, routines to cultivate that positive sort of workplace culture? Maybe you could share a success story of an organization that you've worked with that has integrated your sessions into their culture, and give us some information on what's the first step for leaders to take to making this part of their routine with their teams.
Absolutely. So as with everything else, the first step is we got to do it ourselves, right? We gotta you got to buy into it yourself. And so I would say do 3 rounds of Wim Hof. Start simple. You personally, the leader, the business owner, the CEO, the COO, begin incorporating 3 rounds of Wim Hof breathing into your daily morning routine. Come to one of my Limitless Flow Breathwork sessions on Saturday. They're public. They are hybrid. I'm in Los Angeles, but we do them on Zoom, so you can be anywhere in the world. Sejal's been there. She has not been in the room with me in Los Angeles, but she's been there virtually. And what happens is, as soon as you understand what it is, as soon as you understand the gift that breathwork is, how easily you can shift your state, in the Limitless Flow sessions, we have these huge shifts, and you get this big, you go into flow state, you go into transient hypofrontality, transient meaning it doesn't last real long, hypo meaning slower or less than, frontality referring to the prefrontal cortex. We are very intentionally, temporarily shutting down the prefrontal cortex, which means that your sense of time goes away, your sense of self-consciousness goes away, long-range planning, risk assessment, the voice of the critic goes away, that voice that follows you around and tells you that you suck, it dies down. So as a leader, when you can get into that place and you get these big aha moments, and these big things, these problems that you've been Rubik's cubing in your mind for 2 weeks suddenly become clear. The next steps become very clear. What to do becomes clear, but you got to buy in on it first. You got to believe in the value of these things first. As far as bringing it into your team, begin every single session with 3 to 4 minutes of breathing. Everybody close your eyes. We're going to take some deep breaths together. We're going to take a few physiological sighs together, which is a great big deep full breath. Top it off. Hold for 10 seconds. And then a long, slow exhale. Do 3 of those before every single meeting. Everybody's nervous system will drop. Everybody's nervous system will come together. There is a reason why SEAL teams, the last thing they do before they exit the boat, the plane, or whatever they're in, is they breathe together. They sit in a circle and they breathe together, and there is a neural connection that happens when people breathe together. And it is real. You can get your team in coherence if you get everybody breathing together. You just linked up and made a team cohesive. And if it becomes a pattern, if it becomes the habit, if it becomes the trigger point for cohesion every single time, then when you get together, everybody knows we're going to breathe for a few minutes, and then we're going to begin acting as a unit.
Love it. Love it. And this is definitely resonating with people, Dave, as I knew it would. Lauren, thank you for joining us. She put the comment in, love adult in the room. Need to get my kids into the session ASAP. Absolutely, Lauren. I did it with my son. And you know what I loved about doing the virtual sessions too, and I was telling Dave this before we went live, is I liked being able to do it in my own room, in my bed with my mask on, and just feeling safe, knowing the environment, not having to worry about if people were watching or if they were going to hear me crying or whatever I was going through. But I also see the benefits of being able to do it live in a group setting as well. And so Dave, one of these days I'm going to be in LA and we're going to have to do this live too, because I could see how being in a room full of people and doing it together can be powerful as well. But I love that you have the options for people so that people can do this. And I'll share this. There's been several times where our chief nobody, Mark McNally, and I have started one of our one-on-one sessions to say, let's just take a few breaths together, and we're looking at each other on the screen, and we start off with a few breaths together before we go into our, list of things we have to cover. And it really does. It just kind of connects us, to say, okay, we're in this together and we're a team. Let's get to business because that's what we're here to do. But we're still a team. We're two human beings. We're working towards a common goal. And that breath work really kind of unites us, together. So I love that you shared that, doing that before a meeting. Maybe you can, I know we're already at time, so I want to make sure we give people information on how they can contact you. But maybe for the people that are joining, you can quickly just teach us one technique, so let's say you need clarity, right? You're feeling overwhelmed, feeling confused. What can I do to help me get clarity with breath work? Maybe you could teach us just one quick technique, and then make sure you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you so they can learn more about the work that you do.
Absolutely. So you're sitting at your desk, you got a lot going on, you can't figure out what to get started on. You know what your to-do list is. It's overwhelming. There's a ton going on. You have notifications on everything. Close your eyes. Okay. And here's what you do. You're going to do 4-4-6-2 breathing. Everybody knows box breathing. 4-4-4-4. This is a better technique. They teach box breathing just because it's easier to learn. This is a better technique. So close your eyes, feet on the floor, and you're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2, inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2. One more. Inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2. Do this as many times as you have to, as many times a day. Do 3, 4, 5 rounds of that breathing a couple of times a day. You will shift the cortisol level in your blood. You will lower your cortisol level. You will lower your stress. You will lower the stress hormones, which means you'll sleep better, which means you'll be more rested, which means you'll lower your cortisol, which means you'll have less stress, which means you can work more efficiently, which means you get to go home with less stress, which means you'll sleep better. It is a cascading benefit. The more breath work you do, the more you lower your cortisol, the more you take control of your nervous system, the more you are the adult in the room in your physiology, the better your life gets, because the better your physiology gets.
It is so, so powerful. Thank you so much, Dave, for opening my eyes to this, to breath work. I know it's something that I plan on doing. And I think, one other thing I'll add is what I love about your sessions too, is what you say, the words, the sort of inspiration I get, because when you're starting to do this, I noticed my brain is like a monkey brain, right? It just starts going off into all these different directions. And I'm like, why am I even thinking about this right now? But having you be there consistently and just talking me through it, I'm able to pull my brain back into and continue doing that work. And the one thing I'll share with everybody else too is definitely try the Saturday morning sessions that you can do virtually with Dave, and give yourself grace. The first couple of times I did it, I was like am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? You know, is this working? Or I can't see, my eyes are closed, you know, and all these things start happening. And Dave says this really well at the beginning of the session. He says, you're going to look for every single reason you can to stop doing this session right now. You're going to try to figure out, like, I don't know this guy. I love what you say. You're like, I don't know who Dave is. Who is this guy telling me how to breathe? And it does. Your brain really starts fighting what you're doing. And you just, when it starts to happen, I just lay there and I just go back to whatever breathing feels natural. And then I get back into the whatever section we're working on. I think you're doing incredible work, Dave. Thank you so much for bringing this to Nobody Studios and our team. And I hope that everybody that's watching shares this information with everybody else and reaches out to you, because I think it's incredibly important for us to put our well-being and self-care and take control, like you said, be the adult in the room so that we can live healthier and happier lives. So thank you for joining me, Dave. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign out for today?
I will give Sejal, for everybody who's listening to this, I will give Sejal a coupon code. So anybody who's listening to this, to the Nobody Studios broadcast, I will give you a coupon code. Come try it for free. Come try it virtually. Come try it. If you're in the LA area, come try it. I will give Sejal a coupon code. Come join this for free. Find out for yourself what flow state breathwork is.
Yay. Okay. So how do people get a hold of you, Dave, if they want to contact you and learn more? I know you're on LinkedIn, right?
Right. I have my QR code right there. Or you can go to www.limitless-flow.com. Limitless-flow. You can hit the QR code. You can Google Limitless Flow Breathwork. You can Google Dave Gieselman or Become Limitless, which is the coaching wing of what I do.
Incredible. So you heard it. Reach out to Dave, reach out to me, and I'll give you that discount code. Trust me, it's a game changer. I highly recommend it. Thank you for making time for this important conversation, Dave. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. So thank you for being a part of my tribe, my health and wellness tribe. I really look forward to seeing where we go together.
I'm excited, and it's always an honor to have you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this live stream today. I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm going to continue doing this. I'm bringing a lot of different types of facilitators and coaches to our team to really help empower our Nobody Studios team with different types of modalities like the one we talked about today. So I'll be doing more of these in the future. We look forward to you joining us next time. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.